The OP11 format plus starter decks has seen a lot of dominance with one character in particular, that being Luffy himself. But there's one Luffy deck that has been flying under the radar and, as of the time of recording this video, has started to get some very interesting results. I'm talking about Purple Black Gear 5 Luffy. So in this video, we are going to go over a couple of the different builds that have done well over this weekend and try and see if I can maybe help to get that last little bit of edge for PB Luffy. My name is Ben Fitzpatrick. I'm a TCG caster, so that means I just love talking about him. So let's do that right now. But before we get into the action, if you enjoy this video, please do drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on those notifications so you do not miss a thing. And drop me a follow over on X while you are there as well. Link is in the description. So, Purple Black Luffy. This is a deck and a list that I have been very, very hopeful of after trying to play it at the Glasgow Regional Championships in March. Unfortunately, didn't quite go too well, but maybe that was because it was missing one or two things that it needed. And over this past weekend, literally in the space of the last 24 hours, some PB Luffy lists have started to come through and do quite well. Luigi Amato here, one of the best players and one of the most well-known players in the European region, playing and going decently, badly by his standards, unfortunately, but you can see the general build of the deck here. It's leaning into more of a heavy purple focus as opposed to leaning into the black as well. We do have some representation with 2 copies of the 5-cost Sanji, but for the most part, it is straightforward purple aggression thanks to the brand new 6-cost Beer Luffy that we got from the starter decks recently that allows you to make your leader a 7,000 power base. So this is the list here from Luigi Amato so far that he played in Dublin in Saturday. 4 Usohachi, 4 Nico Robin, 4 Zoro, 4 Maria, 4 Law, all pretty standard, 4 Frankie, 3 of the EBO2 Gear 2 Luffy, 2 of the 9-cost, load of different events and searches, Gum Gum Lightning and Gamma Knife, 1 copy of that to combine with Gum Gum Lightning, Giant, of course. When you're at sea, extra searcher. There's not really too many surprises here. The one small little surprise, maybe from me personally, is the Chopper, but it's in there primarily, I think, to deal with Gum Gum Giant on your opponent's side of the board. It's a very, very popular event right now, with Purple and Luffy's being so prevalent in the meta. But Tony Chopper is in there. Next up, we've got Charlie, or Hunk Solo on X, who just came 8th in Orlando Regional with it. And you can see already a couple of differences. First and foremost, 4 copies of the Gear 2 Luffy, no Gamma Knife, 4 copies of Charlotte Pudding, and only 2 Frankie blockers, as well as 1 of the 10-cost Gear 5 Luffy, a card that I absolutely love. But there's a couple of things in here that, while it's done very, very well, just doesn't feel like it sits too right with me. 3 Zoro is a very, very interesting thought process. 4 Gear 2 Luffy, again, for me, maybe feels like it's 1 too much, but maybe that's just me trying to protect the wallet with not having to get too many Gear 2 Luffys. But either way, you can't argue with the result. 8th place, a fantastic finish. And one of the best players in the world as well, Jonas Abraham, playing this at the Oviedo Regional as well, and coming 7-2. But again, you see that difference in variation. We've got the 2 5-cost Sanjis back in. We've got 1 copy of Gum Gum Jet Gatling, still 4 of the Gear 2 Luffys, but 4 Rush Sanjis as compared to 3 down here for Charlie, as compared to 3 from Luigi Amato. So you're starting to see the different kind of levels of variation here with this list. But there's one thing that this list isn't doing too much, and that is leaning into the black that you can get with this leader. So that's where my brain started to come in. And believe me, this could be complete cope. This could be completely wrong. We're going to find out in some games. But this is the list that I've come up with. Let's take a look at it. So this is what I've come up with, and this is what I've created. And I'm sure there are already many, many people in there that are saying, Ben, what the hell are you doing? How are you a One Piece card game caster? What is this abomination? let me rationalize. Let me try and explain this. So, of course, we've got our Gear 5 Luffy. We've got a lot of the recent sort of targets and the most recent offenders. 4 lore to search. 4 Black Maria as a 2K and to be able to play the game if you're playing against Teach. 4 Zoro, 4 Usohachi to rest. 4 Robin, 4 Frankie, 4 Beer Luffy, 3 Sanji. Those are all quite standard, along with 2 of the 9-cost Luffy secret rare from OP09. Only 2 copies of 6-cost Luffy from EBO2. And there's 2 reasons for this. 1, to be a little bit more budget friendly and protect the wallet. And 2, because of that taking the top card of the life into hand. You're already a 4-life leader on PB Luffy, so I want to try and be as protective as possible with my life. And at 6 Don, I'd rather set up the Beer Luffy to be able to continuously get that 7,000 power base, as opposed to the secret rare Luffy. I'd much rather this be a full closer or another closer option before we start sort of going into that as our third curve and our third turn. I'm playing 2 copies of the 10-cost Gear 5 Luffy. Primarily because I love this card. I think this card is hilarious. I think this card is insane. But it's even more insane in this list. Because what you can do is before you play this down, you swing out with everything that's on your side of the board. Then you play the 10 drop, -10, leader ability activates, so you get 1 Don active and 1 Don rested. That 1 active Don feeds into 10-cost Luffy's second ability to draw 1 more active Don. So then, when you pass the turn back to yourself, you are at 5 Don to work with to potentially swing for game. Either go 9 and 12 by using the last Don to get an extra active Don for Gum Gum Giant, or go 10 and 12 if you feel really, really confident that you can close the game in that second turn of yours. I love this card. I think this card is really, really good and really, really fun, and was one that when I was originally playing PB Luffy, I only played a 1 of, but when I dropped it down to the board, I won 9 out of 10 games. Other cards that I'm including, of course, I've got the 2 Sanjis that Luigi Amato and Jonas Abraham were working with, but I'm running 2 of the 3-cost blocker Namis, also from Starter Deck 13. This was a card that saw quite a bit of play in Black Yellow Luffy, a deck that I also played, and in that list, I really, really enjoyed it, because on play, if you have a character with 8 cost or more on the board, and 6 or less in hand, you get to draw 1. And you're thinking, well, there's very limited amount of characters here that are going to be 8 cost or more. You've got a leader ability that grants all of your characters +1 cost. So if you get 7 cost Sanji on the board, for example, and put a Don underneath your leader, if you're not just immediately going into the 10 drop, for example, and you want to play a little bit safer, you can get this card draw, and you can get this ability activation by playing something else out as well. And importantly, it's a blocker that is not costing you a Don minus ability to activate any other effects, unlike something like Frankie. Here, it is sort of limited card draw, absolutely, but it's card draw that's not costing you Don to minus. So you're safe to use the 6-cost Luffy's ability, drop another 7-cost Sanji, the 9-cost Luffy as well. You're safe to do manner of different things. So this Nami, I liked it in Black Yellow Luffy once I started to get to grips with it, and I really, really like it potentially in this deck as well. I've got 1 copy of Gum Gum Jet Gatling, just as a nice little surprise event as well, in case I'm all out of Don and I've already fired off my Giant, I'm keeping 2 Top Knot in the deck. And I know that a lot of players at the moment now have switched over to Gum Gum Lightning. And Gum Gum Lightning relies on power level to be able to KO. Top Knot, however, relies on cost. And because we're playing black in this Purple Black leader, we can manipulate that quite nicely. So the last 2 cards in the deck are a card that initially I thought was going to be the replacement for Great Eruption when it got banned, and then Tempest Kick took over. This is Haute Couture Patchworks. It's a 1-cost activate main event which says give up to one of your opponent's characters -3 cost during this turn. Then up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 0 can't be set as active during the next refresh phase. It's also got a filter trigger with draw 2, trash 1. But what I'm mainly looking for here is 2 things. Number 1, Top Knot target. Number 2, Sanji target. Because all of a sudden now, with 1 Don underneath the PB Luffy leader, this Sanji becomes a 6 cost when it gets played down. So you can patchwork something on your 7 Don turn, say, if we are being a little bit more kind of reserved and medium tempo. That's what this deck is trying to sort of be a little bit more of, as opposed to just a pure purple aggro deck. This is a little bit more mid-rangey. So on 7 Don turn, 1 Don underneath Luffy leader. Swing 6, see how your opponent responds, or maybe. Then play patchwork to reduce the cost of something, and then Sanji it away. I really, really liked the look of this card and liked the thought process of this card when I first saw it and when I first started looking at potential replacements for Great Eruption in the game. And I'm very, very interested to see if it's going to work here as well. It's obviously unsearchable with it being Dressrosa type, but even if it is getting into a point where you don't necessarily need it anymore, you can trash it away with Gatling, Giant, or Frankie. And if it's in life, it's a draw 2, trash 1 trigger, which will get you closer towards these big end game threats. So that's the theory behind it. We're going to get into some gameplay for the first time on this channel and see if this theory is exactly going to go into practice. I have no idea what we're going to go up against. We're just going to queue into some random sim games, probably about 2 or 3 in this video. And we'll see just exactly whether I've unlocked something here, or whether I am just talking absolute nonsense. So let's go ahead and dive into game 1 to find out. Okay, so we've got a game here. We're going first up against Buggy, which is a leader that a lot of people have been very, very excited to be playing. I'm going to go first, taking the leader ability away from Buggy on curve. And this is an okay starting hand. I think I'm going to keep it. I'm tempted to keep it at the very least just for Zoro at the very least. So I'm going to keep this hand. And we'll have Top Knot as well for any of the 4 costs that potentially might get played onto board. So we'll pass the turn on 1 Don. No Searcher, which isn't great, but it's fine. But my opponent has nothing to do straight away. So we're going to go ahead on 3 Don. Use the leader ability and the Zoro effect, and then we've got an immediate 7k swing. Opponent has 2 Don available if they want to counter it. They probably won't, though. They won't. Take the extra card in hand, ready for Buggy ability on their next turn. And we found ourselves a 3-cost Nami blocker as well here, but that might just get trashed away for Frankie, depending on what our opponent does here. They're going to play the Mr. 3, so they're going to go searching. So no 4-drop for them on this turn, no 4-cost Buggy. They're going to grab the blocker Mihawk. Okay, that's totally fine. And they're going to peel off for the remaining Don. Very, very nice. 5k swing here. I am happy to take to start off with. We hit another Zoro. That is fine. We might be trashing that away for Frankie, unless we want to like turbo ramp ourselves here. Depends what's on the top of the deck. If we get a cool sort of aggression piece, I might be tempted to play down another Zoro. because we're going to go up to 6 Don next turn. So Beer Luffy is the best case scenario. We find Beer Luffy as well. Perfect there. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this. Are we going to play this first? Because I'm going to go 6 and 7. Yeah, we're going to play this first. Don -2. 1 active, 1 rested. Opponent doesn't have 5 or more Don, so we don't actually get the ability here. That's really annoying. Okay, slight misplay, but it's fine. We can save it. We can still go 5 and 6, and we've got the Luffy on board at the very least now. Damn, that's a pretty unfortunate misplay. Actually, I would have been better off going ahead and playing the Zoro. They counter away with a pudding. That's fine. We'll go and swing in for 6 here now, giving everything +1 cost as well. And we'll see if they want to go ahead and 2k this, or if they want to go and take the damage. They've got 8 cards in hand, and they have leader ability available to them on the next turn. We know that they've got Mihawk in hand, the 6 cost, so they could potentially croc into Mihawk on this preceding turn with the leader ability. Still considering exactly what they want to do against this 6k swing. There's no harm in taking the damage here, I think, for them. They are going to go ahead and 2k with the Kabaji, one of the new cards from Starter Deck 25. You have 2 or more characters with a base cost of 5 or more. It is a blocker. It becomes a 5 cost blocker and a 6k on my turn as well. Really cool card is Kabaji. But over we go onto their turn. Going to put 1 Don underneath the buggy. So there's going to be a 6k swing into Zoro probably. No, it's going to be leader. We will give him a 2k for that. I want to keep my life as much as possible if I can for Gear 2 Luffy. But here comes leader ability. There's the 7 cost buggy. Okay, that makes things a little bit more awkward, because this now just can't attack. And they bring the Mihawk out with it as well. So I need to start finding some higher cost characters and finding them fast at the moment. Or get rid of buggy with Hawkchur Patchworks. If I could top deck Hawkchur Patchworks, I can -3 this and then top knot. Another Beer Luffy. Okay. Okay. So I'm looking at Frankie here as a definite card that I want to play. Or maybe, no, it's 8 cost and this Luffy will only be a 7. That's slightly annoying. I could just play Frankie at the very least, just so that I've got a blocker on board, or I just Dom -2, go back up to 8 next turn. This is really awkward. This is a really weird situation that we're in right now. I've got 8 Dons, so that could be 9. Go another 9. And then 3 Don. Honestly, 3 Don for Nami. I don't just hate Nami, it's just a vanilla blocker here. So we're going to go 2 Don underneath. We're going to swing 9. Oh, but it's active Don. Okay, yeah, that's annoying. Do that. That's fine. This is fine. We can save this. Yeah, because we can still swing 9 and not leave up Giant potentially as an option. Yeah, I'm fine with that. We'll just swing 9 again. See if our opponent wants to interact with this. If they want to block, they have to give me 3k counter for this Mihawk to stay around. And then I can just play this Nami. This is why I like this Nami, is that if this was Chopper, I'd feel kind of obliged to sort out Mr. 3 here. But instead I can just drop this as a blocker, and not worry about it too much more. Because this card right now in hand is completely useless with 7 cost buggy on the board. Until we get a way to remove it with Haute Couture plus Top Knot, or Haute Couture plus Sanji as well. There's a line to potentially get rid of this. The Zoros are just kind of empty ramp in this situation. So, still debating on the 9k. The great thing about this character as well is that it cannot attack, so we don't have to worry about the 8k swing that's coming our way, or potentially 9 with a Don underneath it. It's just going to be leader, possibly 6 cost Mihawk if he wants to get, they want to get really, really aggressive on me. But we'll see. They're still debating on this 9k swing here. And remember, I'm a 7k base on their turn, so that's going to be 2 of their 8 Don that they're going to have to commit to try and deal some kind of damage. They'd have to go like 2 Don underneath leader, then leader ability. That still leaves 1 open for potentially a Mr. 3 or a cross guild. It's actually a really awkward situation that we've sort of inadvertently put them in here. And I think this is why this is taking so much time for them to figure out exactly what to do against this 9k swing. What have they got in trash and used away already as well? So one 4-cost buggy, only 1 2k gone. Seeing the pudding go away is quite nice. Never nice being puddinged. But I'm not sure. They're still in the blocker step as well, so they might be thinking about trying to block with Mihawk.
1 eternity later.
So unfortunately, our buggy player did not decide to rejoin us in that situation, but we've got ourselves another game here. This is going to be against Marco, and Marco has pushed me to go first. This is an okay starting hand, but it's very sort of ramp heavy. I'm actually going to mulligan this. This might be the wrong decision. It's not turned out to be too much of a bad decision. We've got double Zoro, Robin, Top Knot, and we're starting things off with a Law Search here as well. I think I'm going to grab Frankie. I want to grab the 10-cost Luffy, but I think I've got to grab Frankie here, just so that I've got something else that I can go ahead and do in the remainder of the early turns. We get Duval here on board for our Marco player, so they're going to look at the top 3, put them at the top or bottom of the deck, and then that's going to be about it. We can then go ahead and play our Zoro on curve and swing 7 with the leader. That's going to draw the damage, passing the turn. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Marco is a deck that's gotten some very, very big publicity on it as well recently after winning in the recent regional. It was very, very good. 6k swing. I'm going to take this. No trigger. And then here is a Vankov to play Masked Deuce down. Okay. When attacking, if your hand has 6 or less, draw a card. KO a 2k or less. I actually feel slightly threatened by this Masked Deuce here, especially because of the minus 2k that the Marco leader ability gives. So I think I'm tempted to Top Knot this Masked Deuce away. I think I am going to. I don't like the look of that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and gain 1 active, 1 rested. Then I can do like maybe 7/7. I don't hate doing that. Doesn't look imposing on board and like defeats the idea of our Frankie here as well. But I much prefer the idea of getting rid of that and stopping Marco from being able to get rid of some of my characters. Like if they set themselves up for something like Red Hawk or something like that, it's a little bit awkward. I mean, this is even more awkward though, from them just minus 2k'ing. There's another Masked Deuce that hits the board and another Duval, but you're probably just going to now swing into my Zoro, right? Bottom decking all of the cards from Duval is interesting. Yeah, swinging... Swinging 4 into 3. You can swing 7 into it next turn. No, this isn't worth defending. And then 6. This is worth defending. I will 2k this one away. And then a building snake as well. Jesus Christ. We do have 9 cost Luffy. That's just hit the board now. It's just hit our hand now. So that's interesting. What do I want here, though? I feel like I want to bide my time with Frankie and Nami. So if I play Frankie first, Dom -2, trash away probably Zoro. Yeah, let's start with this. Dom -2, we'll trash away Zoro. Game 1 active, game 1 rested. We've now drawn into 10 cost Luffy as well, which is really interesting. Okay. I'll try and swing 6 at the Ivankov. It's probably going to get countered or blocked. And then I'll play... Yeah, there's the block. And then I'll play Nami blocker and pass. Leave one open for Giant. And if my stuff survives, I think I'm going to play Gear 5. Oh, okay. Here's the new Nami from OP11. Draw 3, place 2 up top or bottom. And here's another blocker as well that I'm going to have to try and get through. My opponent's got a lot of cards in hand. 5 at lead. This is just fine, I think, right? I'll just take this. Sure. I'm not worried about that. Here's Monet. Rest this character, give up 2 rested Dons to a leader or character, then give something -1. And I've drawn Jet Gatling as well, if things go really, really wrong. Okay. So now do I swing... Because I've got another Frankie to potentially play as well next turn to help defend myself. Or do I play the 9 cost and wait 1 turn? I think I've got to wait 1 turn. Yeah, I'm gonna wait 1 turn. I'm gonna play the 9 cost Luffy. Game 1 active, game 1 rested. Of course, now I draw the Sanji. I'm gonna attempt to swing 6 into 4 of the Ivankov. That's gonna go down, and then I'll rush in for 10. That's gonna go through, and then I'll pass. So I'm leaving 1 Don open for what is, unfortunately, in this scenario, a bait Giant. But I'm setting myself up really, really nicely, or possibly really nicely, for a Gear 5 turn here. He's going to Building Snake my Luffy. So that brings it down to 7. Now it's down to 5. Because of the Marco leader ability. And then here comes Ace as well. So he's just going to Ace and then Masked Deuce this away. Oh, that's really horrible. That's really, really nasty. Or is he going to pop my blocker? No, he is going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to counter this with Black Maria. And then he's got 6 and potentially 7 or more that he could go ahead and play. I'm going to take the 6. Ooh. Yeah, I trigger this. Ooh. Okay. I've got another 9 cost. I've got a Top Knot. Top Knot doesn't really help me out here, I don't think. Oh, he's just quit. Okay. Okay, he's just quit. After seeing the Haute Couture Patchwork trigger out of life. So, let's try and sort of walk this through here. Let's try and play this through as if sort of how we would have gone. So, the 6k swing was taken. We trigger that. I probably trash Top Knot away or 5 cost Sanji. Then he's got 2 more Don open. He does have Duval to play down as another blocker. So that leaves him with 2 blockers, potentially, if he plays it down after swinging 7 with ace. And he's got a lot of counter in hand. 2/2Ks if you're drawing a third with the Otama. So I don't think that I would win by 10 costing on that on the next turn. Because this wears off. So this is back to a 5. So I could go 5/5. Which will be 1k, 1k. Gear 5. Reset the board. 9/12 just gets blocked and blocked. Yeah, so gear 5 doesn't work in this situation. I'd have to probably clear the board in that scenario. Or at least try to clear the board. But either way, a win is a win. And Hawkshire Patchwork just made someone quit. So there's that at the very least. Okay, so now it's time to go up against one of the boogeymen of the format right now, Marshall D. Teach. We are going to go first. We've got a pretty good curve here, so we are going to go ahead and keep. But remember, we're not going to have too many more on-plays through this game. I'm going to take the Frankie here and pass. But yeah, Teach is a deck that I am very, very afraid of, and a lot of people are very, very afraid of right now. With good reason, because it's just absolutely ridiculous the amount of stuff that this deck has gotten. And look at that, they've turned my on-plays off on turn 1 because they are that scared of Zoro or Robin. Now, annoyingly, I had a Black Maria in that search, but I wasn't able to take the Black Maria, so I'm actually just going to have to swing 5/5 with my character and leader here. I can't do anything else that's going to be able to really help me, because Robin, with the on-plays gone, is better in my hand as a 2k. I don't have the ability just to play Frankie down as a blocker. Yeah, this is an awkward stat here. This is a Teach player that is clearly very aware of what this deck tries to do. We've got Full lead on turn 2 for them as well. Not activating it just yet. Already 8 cards in the trash as well, by the way, from Double My Era Begins and Leader ability. So their Burgess is already pretty big. Here comes 5-cost Kuzan trashed away, getting the new Kuzan, which can get this back. Unbelievable card. 5 into 2. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll let that go. Keeps a hold of my life a little bit quicker. No on plays and 3 Dom left open and pass. And I draw the new EBO2 Luffy. This card is going to be very, very good and very, very important in this matchup. But for now, we're going to go ahead and just swing 5 lead. And then just play the Sanji, I think. Just as a body on board. But yeah, this, I'm definitely playing this on the next turn, I think, as I go to 7. So I won't have both the active Don to be able to activate the ability and swing twice. But at least it is an attack that I'm going to be able to make. Going to full lead, grabs the Burgess. And this is another thing that another reason why the Top Knot's still in this deck, or I've still kept Top Knot, is for Burgess. 5k swing. Do I just take this? Am I okay? Am I happy taking this? Sure. No trigger. And there is the 6-cost Kuzan. Okay. So we draw a Robin. So we've got a lot of 2Ks in hand. And this is another reason why Top Knot's in here. To get around non-KO abilities. What do I do? Obviously no one plays, so I can't just drop... I can't play Frankie and Robin. I'm going to swing 5 first, see what he does. He's waiting for me. He'll wait for me to swing 6. Which, honestly, I'm just going to oblige. If he wants to block and bring back the 5 Zan, like, go for it. because I'm just going to rush in with 6-cost Luffy anyway. Okay. That, however, is a little bit more of a problem. I can deal with it, or I can at least attempt to deal with it on this turn by playing this. And the 1 Don can go underneath and I can swing the 8. But with 5 cards in hand, you can probably save it. I cannot use the card action because I don't have 2 active Don. So I'm just going to swing 7. He's going to take, which makes sense. He's not been working with too many cards in hand so far. Down to 1 life, though. Before the 10 cost comes down, we are happy with that. We are very, very happy with that. So here's full lead, trashing another stage away. How many are there? 13. So you are, what? 2 more cards away? 2-3 more cards away? New Devon. Okay, so that's a 2k. Lafitte. Grabbing Stronger. We're just grabbing 2ks out of 2ks for 2ks. We're using one of them to cost reduce the Luffy and black hole it. Okay. That's fair. That's very, very fair. But that is a lot of his Don already used. And he's now just got 5-card hand. 4 cards with a Vasco shot. He's going to swing into my Sanji. I'm just going to giant this, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 7 Dons. Or down 5. Go back to 7. So I can't, like, Luffy him for game. I could double 2k this. In fact, yeah, let me just double 2k this. I don't need to burn my Gum Gum Giant. And then 5 at life I'll take. Find Usohachi. And playing the Caribou blocker. Okay, draw 1. Oh, it's the Gear 5 Luffy. That's not the character that I wanted to see just yet. But we can still just keep the pressure on. At the very least. I've got 9 Don. I like playing a Sanji, but I also like playing a Frankie blocker. Or like playing double Frankie blocker. Just to try and help protect a little bit. That's 8. That only leaves me with 1, so I have to go over the top and just try and completely ignore this Burgess here. Or I drop this. Leaves me with 2 Don remaining. I can swing 6/6, leaving 1 up for Giant. But then this just gets negated by 10 cost Teach if he has it. I think the smarter play is to play the 2 blockers. So I'm gonna swing 5. He'll counter for the 2k that we knew was in hand. Okay, so 2 cards left. I'm gonna swing 6. He can keep his Lafitte. I don't care about his Lafitte at this point. I just want to keep the pressure on. Because if one of these 2 cards in hand is 10 cost each, I want to get him as low as possible, or as sort of in an empty and weird board state as possible, before he plays it down. And I'm still going to keep my Don open for the Giant. He takes the damage. Okay, perfect. So now I can drop my 2 Frankies. I can pass the turn. I've got 1 Don still left for Giant as well. If he doesn't turn off my on-plays, which he'd have no reason to not turn off my on-plays on this turn, he has since the very first turn of the game for him. I can 10 cost Luffy and win the game, which would be hilarious. But I don't think that's going to be the case here. It is a very realistic chance that one of these cards... Okay, so he's trashed away a 10 cost Teach. There's got to be a second one in hand there then, right? Black holing me, sure. Trashing away that Burgess. 5k. You're swinging at the Sanji. Do I giant this? Well, I can't giant this if I want the Luffy to stay, or the Luffy to still be a live play. I can just counter with everything. I'm going to counter with everything else. And try and keep this Luffy... Well, this Luffy's dead card anyway. Because of the black hole, actually. So that was probably slightly stupid. There's no 10 cost coming down. He's used Lafitte. There's no 10 drop. Okay. We could just win here. Getting stronger. Okay, so there's 1 2k in hand. Playing another Lafitte. We are searching for something. What's he looking for? Vasco? Another Caribou? Gets Black Hole. Okay, so that kills one of my blockers. If he wants it. Or he can kill Sanji with the stronger that he's got in hand as well. I have to trash another card from hand to do that, though. Leaving him with only 2 left. Here's 8. This we're going to giant. Trash this away, plus this, resolve. Okay, Searcher and Sorrow, not a great top 2. There's the Black Hole. And he's going to scoop. He did have 10 cost in hand. Did he draw it too... No, he can't have drawn it too late. Because off of Lafitte number 1... Off of Lafitte number 1, he searched Stronger. Off of Lafitte number 2, he searched Black Hole. So why not just play the 10 cost? In that situation. Either way, we beat Teach. Either way, we beat Teach. We used Sanji as more of an attacking worry, an attacking threat in that game. Which is another one of the reasons why I love this card so much, is because it's at that 5. So even if you're not just immediately KOing something, you've got something on the board early when you're going first. So not a bad start here. Not a bad situation that we've got for ourselves. Okay, so this is going to be the final game of the video, and of course, it had to be against the real boogeyman of the format, Purple Green Luffy. This is a terrible hand. We're going to mulligan that away. That isn't much better. But at least we've got something to do on turns 2, 3, and 4. But yeah, here we go. Into Purple Black Luffy. Already has the Zoro Juro in hand as well from Going Merry. And the When You're at Sea We Fight Pirates. So we're going to go ahead, use this ability, swing 7k into life. They'll take. Don't tell me you're going to activate a trigger here early on. What triggers do you even have? Another When You're at Sea? No? Okay. Pass. Sure. But yeah, this leader is frankly ridiculous. Absolutely disgusting. 5k swing. Ooh. Do I top knot here? Yes. I'm going to top knot. Because that way it saves this 5-cost Sanji for when the Sanji pudding comes down. And we're slightly rewarded by getting a lore. But we also have this Frankie blocker as well. So I'm going to go ahead and swing 5 first with Zoro. See what he does. Counter for 1. Cool, that's totally fine. I'm then going to play Frankie. Use the card action. Trash away Searcher. 1 active, 1 rested. Find Beer Luffy. Very nice. And then I can use this 1 active Don to swing 6. Get that +1 cost, so I'm protected with, say, the 4-cost Zoro ability, and pass the turn. That was a good turn, I think. That was a strong turn from us. And especially hitting that top knot trigger. There's the Sanji and Pudding. So this is exactly what we've wanted this Sanji for. That's fine. Getting the leader ability. Yep. And then what are you going to do? Just like swing aggressive? There is the Zoro. But you can't rest this Frankie because it is +1 cost. So you're going to swing 5 into that Zoro. I am going to not block. I'm going to counter it for 1. And you're going to try and clear the way of it, which I'll allow. Okay. On to my turn. And now, we could either go ahead and play the Beer Luffy. This would activate this turn. But I'm much more interested in getting that Sanji pudding off the board. So we're going to put 1 Don underneath. We're going to play the Sanji, pop the Sanji pudding, and try and swing 6 into the Zoro. Could have also potentially argued to swing 6 into leader on this turn, but it's a 2k counter or 2 1s that you've got to get rid of if you want to save the Zoro. And in this situation, they're going to let it go, or they have to let it go with now 7 cards in hand. There is 2k Sanji, another Nami search for another... Oh my god. Another Sanji and Pudding. At least here in this turn, though, I can rest this down with the 7-cost Sanji and try and swing into it, but I'd much rather play Beer Luffy here. God, this card's so annoying. And here's the Frankie as well. So 6 into 5. I'm going to take this. No trigger. Get ourselves the Nami blocker. Another 6-cost Luffy. What do we do here? I mean, this does activate on this turn. But I could also just try and get rid of this Sanji and Pudding. I'll have 2 attacks into it, because I'll have 1 Don that will come back active with this ability to swing 7/7, and then leaves Don open for Giant. I don't hate that. Either that, or I play the Beer Luffy and I just try and go face. But I think as long as this Sanji Pudding is around, it's just way too much value. So we're going to use the effect. We're going to return 1 optional Don. We're going to rest Sanji and Pudding. 1 active, 1 rested. I'll swing the first 7 into it. Probably has a counter. It's the 2k that we knew about. Okay. We don't mind that. And then try 7 again. Do you have a 1, or is it dying with 5 cards in hand? It's getting Gatlinged, which arguably is better for us. And it gets rid of a 6-cost Luffy in hand as well. So that's actually not a bad exchange. We ripped 3 cards out of hand there for our 1 with the 7-cost Sanji by trying to swing into the 5. I don't mind that. And now it sets us up for a situation where we can either play this Beer Luffy and still have a load of Don open for some Giants, or we top deck 3, 4, 5, 6. We are on 7. We top deck the 9-cost Luffy potentially as well. So, oh no, we're on 8 Don. So we could top deck the 10-cost Luffy. That would be perfect scenario here. Although I don't know if we're getting to 10 Don this turn, because I'm probably going to have to burn a Giant. Paying 2 for Gamma Knife. And then going 2 into 2. Ooh, that's awkward. That's really awkward. I don't like that one bit. I don't want to burn this Giant here. I'm not gonna... I don't want to block with Frankie. I'll give him the 1k. Force you to swing with a second one. Which you're going to. I have no counter cards in hand. And I don't want to burn this Giant. Yeah, this Sanji has to go. That's really, really annoying. That's really annoying. Because now what are you going to do? Luffy Tauro. Okay. Luffy Tauro is fine. Playing a 5-cost... Only for Luffy Tauro. Okay. That's even better. For us, arguably. 2-card hand. 6 into 6. You still got so much Don. That's the issue here. I'm not going to block this. I have to Giant this one away. Trash this, plus... Okay, we get Jet Gatling, which is going to help us. And it allows us to safely counter this with Jet Gatling. Plus the Beer Luffy. That's fine. Now you're going to swing 5 at lead, which I'll take. Another Beer Luffy, cool. And then it's my turn. We draw Black Maria. You've got 1 Don. You've got... Do you have Giant, yes or no? That's going to be the question. I've got 3 attacks, and all of them have to land for me to to go for game here, at the very least. There is also the option that I just don't go game on this turn, which I don't know if I hate the idea. We're playing this either way. We're playing that. That was a given. So I've got 7k. You've got 4. You've got an 8. You've got a big leader as well. That's at 6. So I'd have to go 6, 7, 8. Without leaving a Don open for Giant. I don't like that. I want to wait one more turn. So I need to go... I'm going to go 9 into the Sanji and Pudding. Kill that. At the very least. 6 into the Frankie. Kill that. And pass. I'm 7k base. I've still got Giant. I've got a blocker. I feel a bit safer here. Yes, it's giving him one more turn and one more opportunity to find a way back into this game. But I don't think I could have won without some kind of rush there. This Black Maria needed to be 9 or 10 drop Luffy for me to go, okay, yeah, I'm going to go balls to the wall and try and win this turn. 3 cards in hand. Still 2 life. Luffy leader and Luffy Taro. I'm probably jumping in the way of the Taro swing with Frankie blocker. Ideally, best case scenario, I keep this Frankie blocker alive. So I've got 4 possible attacks on board. He's just going to go 8 into 7. What are you doing that for? I'm just going to 2k with Black Maria. Have you got 6 cost Luffy? Have you got gear 2? Yes, you do. Okay. That's why. So gear 2 Luffy. Don minusing 2 for leader ability. Getting all the active Don back. So I've just got to time my Giant correctly here. Basically, I think is what we're looking at. 1 Don underneath to go 8 into 6. No, we're going 8 into 7. Why are you doing that? I 2k. Why are you doing that? That's so confusing. Now you're swinging 7 at 6. I'm just going to burn the Giant here. Trash this away. +4. Resolve. I get another Sanji and a Law Searcher. But he's just going to scoop from there. 2k and an Electrical Luna was all that was in hand. Really, really odd. Really, really odd why you'd swing so low with this Luffy, knowing that I'm a 7k base as well. Very, very odd decision there, in my opinion. Life was not necessarily going to save him. Anatomy Searcher does nothing there. When you're at sea, could possibly have helped him. Going Merry at the top of his deck is an empty card. And then we don't know what the next... Oh, we do know what the next 2 cards would have been. Would have been another Nami and an Uso Hachi, it looks like. So would have been able to take another 2k. But by that point, you're probably just dead. Anyway, and unfortunately, this was not a rusher. The next card would have been the gear 5. Which we wouldn't have been able to play anyway. But yeah, very, very interesting game. Very, very weird game indeed. So there you go. There was my take on Purple Black Luffy. 3 for 3 in the feature match games as well, against 3 decks that have made some splashes in the meta of recent time. Is this the correct list? Or is this the finalized list? I think finalized, no. Correct? I don't want to say correct, but I do want to say maybe I'm onto something. Because Top Knot in the early game in that green-purple Luffy match really, really helped arrest the tempo for us. 5-cost Sanji, a lot of players are already still on at the moment, and was really, really impactful and helpful to get rid of the first Sanji and putting in green-purple Luffy. The 10-cost we unfortunately didn't get an opportunity to play, didn't see the 6-cost at all. And then the Haute Couture patchwork that forced our Marco opponent to quit the game was very, very interesting. But I don't know. I definitely think I'm going to be exploring this further on the sim and in real life at locals as well. But I'm very, very glad. I'm very, very glad that Purple Black Luffy is starting to get its flowers and starting to get its representation as well. So, with all that being said, it's now over to you guys. What do you think of this list? What do you think of Purple Black Luffy in general? Is there any cards that maybe I've overlooked, that I've missed out to maybe look to include, or some ratios that I should maybe cut down on? By all means, let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, do go ahead and drop a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on those notifications so you do not miss an upload. Hopefully, I'll be doing a lot more gameplay style videos and streams soon, hopefully, as well, for One Piece and other card games. But until the next video, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon. Goodbye for now.